Let's go to Texas now, where two-term Texas Senator Ted Cruz is in the middle of a tight race to keep his Senate seat with Texas Congressman Colin Allred. The most recent polling out just today has got Ted Cruz up by about 3 points in a race that's getting a lot of national attention and, maybe more importantly, a lot of money from outside the Lone Star State. The Cook Political Report that handicaps races just shifted Texas in this Senate race from likely Republican, meaning Ted Cruz likely to win, to leans Republican, which basically means the race is getting tighter, or at least this is what the media wants everyone to think. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is joining me now. Senator, great to have you on. Good to see you.
Rob, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Have you ever been in a race like this before, where it's basically, right now as I see it, it's Ted Cruz versus the entire Democrat Party?
Well, sadly I have. You look at my last reelect in 2018, that race was the most expensive Senate race in U.S. history at the time, and we were outspent 3-1, and we ended up barely winning. We won by less than 3 points. This time around, Chuck Schumer's been explicit. I'm his #1 target in the country, and the Democrats are spending over $100 million trying to beat me. And Rob, it's not complicated. If you are a hard partisan Democrat, after Donald Trump, there is nobody in the country you want to beat more than me. And so George Soros and Schumer are flooding cash into the race. And I want to say, I need your viewers' help. I want to ask your viewers, please come to tedcruz.org right now. tedcruz.org. Come to the website, tedcruz.org. Give $10, $25, $50, even more, because we are in an epic battle. As you noted, every poll done in this race shows it as a 1-point or a 2-point or a 3-point race, and we've got $100 million coming against us. So I need your help. Please come to tedcruz.org.
What does your internal polling show you, just out of curiosity? Because I know there's generally a difference between what Florida State University is finding and your internal campaign polling.
Yeah, look, our polling is consistent with what we're seeing publicly. And what we're seeing publicly, there's been poll after poll after poll that show it as 3 points, that show it as 2 points. There were 2 different polls that showed it as a 1-point race and showed me losing down a point. Now, I don't think that's actually where the race is, but there have been 2 public polls that show that. And that's the reason Chuck Schumer has explicitly said the Democrats are flooding millions and millions of dollars of cash into this race. Let me give you a sense, Rob. The Democrats have been statewide on TV attacking me for 3 months. They've been carpet bombing Texas. I just got up on TV 3 weeks ago. We're being massively outspent, and it's why I need the help of freedom-loving patriots across the country to come to tedcruz.org to stand up. If you want a strong conservative fighter who fights to secure the border, who fights to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, who stands with Donald Trump and fights to bring America back from the cliff, then I need your help, because my opponent is a hard left Democrat who is funded by George Soros and Chuck Schumer, and who is incredibly dangerous. And losing this race could easily lose control of the Senate and keep Chuck Schumer as majority leader.
Take a listen to what AOC had to say here if Democrats are somehow able to win this seat.
It is important because when we win Texas, we transform this country for a generation. A generation.
All right, the quiet part out loud. Senator, I guess I'm wondering why this race is so close. And I know in 2018 we saw it to an extent with Beto O'Rourke, but you won that race by 200,000 votes. Texas is a red state. You're ground zero for the border crisis. What am I missing?
Well, listen, Texas is a very, very suburban state. If you take a look at other suburban states, take a look at Georgia, take a look at Arizona. 4 years ago, Georgia and Arizona had 4 Republican senators. Today, Georgia and Arizona have 4 Democrat senators. We've seen the suburbs all across America moving left, moving blue. Texas, our demographics are almost identical to Georgia and Arizona, which is why Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are putting so much money into this race. Just last week, that video you played was from last week.
Yeah.
Just last week, AOC and Bernie Sanders both came to Texas to campaign in support of Colin Allred. He's a hard left Democrat.
But Senator, that's
and
fine.
what they
Does
said is
anybody in
exactly
Texas care
right.
about
If
Bernie
they
Sanders
win,
and
if they
Colin
take
Allred?
me out, they flip the whole country.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Does anybody there, Texas voters, and I've got family in Texas, do they care if Bernie Sanders visits Texas?
Well, the hard left does, and we've got a lot of leftists in the state of Texas. I mean, you mentioned that in 2018 I won by 200,000 votes. That was out of more than 8 million votes cast. The Democrats in 2018, they more than doubled their turnout in Texas.
Right.
And we've got, come to Austin. We've got a lot of hard left voters, and we've got a big suburban population. And what the Democrats do is they lie to voters. When you have millions and millions of dollars, you lie to voters. So let me give you an example. My opponent, Colin Allred, is running the same campaign Kamala Harris is. They both hide in Joe Biden's basement. They both run away from their record. And so Colin Allred has voted in favor of open borders over and over and over again. He calls the border wall, that racist border wall, he's pledged to personally tear down what he calls that racist border wall. Right now, he's running millions of dollars of TV ads with him posing in front of the thing he calls that racist border wall.
Of course.
Because the Democrats, they think the voters are stupid and they can be fooled. And it's why the only way to counteract it, look, CNN's not going to tell the truth. MSNBC's not going to tell the truth. The only way to counteract it is for a conservative to raise money and to get on paid television and radio and mail and social media. And it's why going to tedcruz.org, making a contribution right now at tedcruz.org, it's why it makes such an enormous difference. Without exaggeration, Rob, I believe it is the difference between winning and losing. If we raise the money we need to communicate, we will win. But if we don't, we'll lose.
All right, Senator, but just quickly, any plans for a Trump rally?
I hope so. President Trump was just in Texas last week. I was with him. He had a big fundraiser, a big event.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it is more likely that President Trump is going to be in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan and the big swing states. Trump is going to win Texas. I'm confident of that.
Right, but he's
which
gonna
is
want you
why the
there with him.
Democrats are focused on my race.
Yeah, he's going to
And
want
we
you
got
there
to
with
make
him,
sure
Senator.
everyone comes out for Trump, but the folks who come out for Trump, they vote for me too. There are some people that come pull the lever for Trump and they don't vote for anyone down ticket. And we got to make sure that they continue to vote down ticket if we hold on to the state of Texas.
Senator, 27 days. Come back and see us, please. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.